We feel an intense, unbreakable connection to someone and call it a spiritual destiny. We call it a soul tie. In reality, we are often making a terrible, high-risk financial investment. Your soul operates on a strict accounting system. It deals in the currency of time, energy, and peace. Think of this as the Oprah Winfrey approach to dating, protecting your inner wealth with rigorous boundaries. Then there is the reality of how we actually trade in the romance market. We act less like Oprah and more like Issa Rae in Insecure, chaotic retail investors constantly trying to buy the dip on a partner who operates like a toxic penny stock. We stay in these failing trades because of a specific economic mechanism known as the greater fool theory. It starts with an IPO overvaluation. A new partner enters your market with extreme premature intensity, treating you like a soulmate within weeks. They inflate their perceived value before you've ever seen their actual earnings, like consistency or how they handle stress. They trigger the pump phase. They shower you with capital, gifts, constant texting, high-octane dates to artificially inflate the emotional bond. They are trying to simulate the reliability of a blue-chip stock. The moment you are fully committed, they execute the dump. The partner sees no more upside to gain, runs out of emotional endurance, and exits the relationship right at the peak of the romantic hype. You are left acting as the greater fool. You bought an overpriced asset hoping the value would rise, and now the music has stopped. You are standing alone holding a severely devalued emotional bag. Pouring your finite spiritual currency into a relationship that lacked a foundation from day one guarantees a catastrophic loss on your emotional balance sheet. The high of the honeymoon phase evaporates, replaced by the cold, analytical reality of a market crash. You find yourself staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., experiencing a spiritual margin call. Your broker is demanding payment, and you realize your partner has completely defaulted on their emotional debts. This happens because of excessive emotional leverage. You invested collateral you could not afford to lose, your time, your youth, and your sanity, into an entirely unverified asset. A high beta partner gives you explosive early returns in the first 100 meters of the relationship. The second actual emotional endurance is required, they cash out. The intense pain of this crash is the devastating realization of your massive emotional overexposure. Wall Street relies on an entire animal kingdom to describe the psychology of a crash. When it comes to dating, we have to look at the pig. This chart tracks the behavior of a financial pig. As the value plummets into the red, the investor stubbornly holds the line, ignoring clear warning signs. Notice how the labels shift to self-worth and sanity. This is the anatomy of a toxic soul tie. There is a brutal adage on the trading floor. Bulls make money, bears make money. Pigs get slaughtered. In a romantic context, the slaughter occurs when you allow your own intrinsic value to depreciate while you wait for a bad asset to turn around. This painful market crash forces a liquidation. The universe clears out your toxic liability to make room for actual spiritual grace. Recovering from this deficit requires executing a formal soul audit. An audit forces you to shift your focus. You stop analyzing the toxic actions of your partner and look internally. You examine exactly why you felt compelled to borrow against your own future to fund their presence in your life. Once you locate the discrepancy, you initiate a soul tie foreclosure. Phase 1 is freezing the assets. You halt all digital engagement. You stop viewing their stories and ignore late-night breadcrumbs. Phase 2 requires cutting off all unpaid emotional labor. When their life inevitably falls apart again, you stop acting as their on-call therapist. You are taking your heart private. You end all public offerings for people who lack the capital to afford your emotional buy-in. This balance sheet visualizes the impact of the foreclosure. Notice how the toxic liabilities column zeroes out, which triggers an exponential rise in your spiritual equity. You are seeing the exact moment trapped peace and self-worth return to your control. Applying rigorous fiduciary standards to your internal peace ensures that your energy is never again used to subsidize someone else's dysfunction. By refusing to fund a bankrupt partner, you finally have the liquidity to invest in yourself. This audit reveals that despite the losses, you remain the most profitable asset in your portfolio.